He's one of Hollywood's greatest, but not everyone survives sharing the screen with Al Pacino. Behind the Oscars, the legendary roles, and that unforgettable voice, lies a list of actors he couldn't stand. From fiery feuds on set to silent tensions that killed entire films, these 7 stars clashed with Pacino in ways you've never heard before. One was too method, one was too technical. One? He just annoyed Pacino to his core. Stick around, because this is the real drama behind the legend. 1. Johnny Depp, Clash of Eras. It was 1997 when Johnny Depp, the rising eccentric, starred opposite Pacino in Donnie Brasco. What looked like a dream pairing became a study in artistic disconnect. Director Mike Newell recalled how Depp built his character from the outside in, gestures, accents, physical tics, while Pacino lived from the inside out, requiring emotional immersion. During a key restaurant scene, Pacino suddenly turned to Depp and asked, "Where are you right now? Because you're not here with me." The room went silent. That moment symbolized a growing creative divide. Depp, known for remaining partially in character off-camera, bewildered Pacino with what he perceived as detachment. Though professional on the surface, Pacino's frustration grew. Producer Barry Levinson had to mediate disputes just to keep scenes moving. Pacino later remarked, "Some actors create characters. Others reveal themselves. The problem is when those two types try to share the same space." 2. Leonardo DiCaprio, the researcher versus the instinct. In Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Pacino and Leonardo DiCaprio didn't share much screen time, but their behind-the-scenes interaction revealed a generational contrast in preparation. DiCaprio arrived hours early to discuss character psychology and historical nuance. Pacino arrived on time, skimmed the script, and delivered performances that felt lived in. At one table read, DiCaprio offered lengthy notes on the cultural dynamics of 1960s Hollywood. Pacino, within earshot, dryly said, "The research department is down the hall. We're in the acting department." Costume designer Arianne Phillips noticed the stark contrast. DiCaprio requested multiple fittings to align with character traits. Pacino chose what felt right emotionally and went with it. Pacino was overheard telling Scorsese that too much technical precision could choke the spontaneity out of a scene. Asked later about working with DiCaprio, Pacino offered, "Every generation has to discover the wheel. Some need to measure every spoke before they roll. Me, I roll." 3. Tom Cruise. The fire never lit. They were initially cast opposite each other in Collateral. Cruise as the philosophical hitman Vincent, Pacino as the cab driver. But creative rehearsals quickly turned combative. Casting director Francine Maisler remembered Cruise arriving with binders of research, military training, and detailed psychological backstories. Pacino sat through it all, then said, "I don't need to know where he went to elementary school. I need to know what he's feeling." An improvisation session exposed the gap further. Pacino threw out the script to provoke raw responses. Cruise, ever rehearsed, couldn't keep up with the chaos. Pacino, visibly irritated, told the crew, "All this homework is wonderful, but sometimes you have to set fire to the library." Their physicality differed too. Cruise rehearsed every move to perfection. Pacino preferred unpredictable motion, guided by emotion. Ultimately, the roles were switched. Cruise became the hitman, and Pacino left the project. Pacino later said, "Some actors design houses. I like the ones who live in them, even if they break the furniture." 4. Kevin Spacey, the chess player versus the jazz man. In Glengarry Glen Ross, Kevin Spacey's cold, methodical approach clashed with Pacino's raw emotional energy. Director James Foley observed that Spacey approached scenes like chess, mapping his every move. Pacino followed instincts, trusting the emotional truth to lead him. During the film's climactic confrontation, Pacino grew frustrated with Spacey's controlled delivery. After one perfectly modulated take, he pulled the director aside and said, loud enough for others to hear, "He's not acting, he's demonstrating acting." The tension spread into rehearsals. Spacey filled his script with technical notes, planned beats, and emphasized diction. Pacino loathed that process. Co-star Ed Harris summarized, "Kevin built blueprints. Al played jazz." Years later, when asked about Spacey during an actor studio masterclass, Pacino replied, "Some actors perform, others reveal. The audience always knows the difference." 5. Jared Leto. Method gone too far. In House of Gucci, Jared Leto went deep into his transformation. Prosthetics, accents, remaining in character as Paolo Gucci even during breaks. At first, Pacino was curious. That curiosity soon turned into irritation. During one intense father-son confrontation, Leto stayed in character after the director called cut, discussing lighting and props in his Paolo accent. Pacino turned to Ridley Scott and said, "Tell the kid the scene is over. He can come back now." Pacino, who values emotional authenticity over external transformation, felt suffocated by the theatrics. Jared built an elaborate structure. Pacino didn't see the soul. One crew member put it bluntly, "Jared builds the violin. Al plays the damn music." 6. Dustin Hoffman. The film that never happened. In the 1970s, Pacino and Dustin Hoffman were set to star in Attica, a drama about the infamous prison uprising. But the film never happened, because rehearsals turned into philosophical warfare. Director Sidney Lumet called it two different religions of acting. Hoffman needed motivation for every line, a psychological reason for every glance. Pacino, by contrast, needed to feel, not dissect. At a table read, Hoffman bombarded the room with sociological research and questioned every beat. Pacino grew increasingly silent, then said, "We're not doing autopsies. We're trying to breathe life into something." When Hoffman suggested filming chronologically for emotional continuity, Pacino pushed back hard. "You're confusing the map with the territory," he said. The final blow came during a rehearsal, when Hoffman interrupted an improvisation to discuss character motivation. Pacino stood up and said, "At some point, you have to stop building the violin and play the damn music." The project collapsed. Hoffman moved on. Pacino remained uncompromising. Other rumored tensions. Even legends don't always see eye to eye. Harvey Keitel, who was originally cast as Michael, found himself replaced by Pacino, a move that shocked many. Though both actors remained civil, there were whispers of creative tension. For Keitel, being pulled from the role that made Pacino a star was no small loss, and the shadow of that decision lingered in industry circles for years. On the set of Carlito's Way, Sean Penn's meticulous preparation reportedly clashed with Pacino's freer, more instinctive method. While no public blow-ups occurred, insiders noted the creative tension simmering beneath the surface. Where Penn wanted precision, Pacino pursued emotional spontaneity. Their differences never boiled over, but they never quite blended either. Then came Robert Duvall, a longtime Pacino collaborator who refused to return for The Godfather Part 3, allegedly due to a major salary dispute. Some reports hinted that Pacino's much higher pay was part of the issue, though no direct blame was cast. Still, it was a telling moment. Not all fractures are personal. Some are financial. And sometimes money breaks what art once built. But here's the deeper truth. This isn't about ego. It's about artistic philosophy. Pacino isn't interested in perfect performances polished to shine. He wants truth. Raw, unfiltered, messy truth. While some actors build cathedrals of technique, Pacino walks in, flips a chair, and turns on the lights. He doesn't just play the truth. He becomes it. And not everyone can keep up. So, who do you connect with more? The researcher or the jazz man? The craftsman or the soul? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Like, subscribe, and join us for more deep dives into cinema's invisible battlegrounds. Because in Hollywood, the real drama isn't always on screen. Sometimes, it's between takes. Thanks for watching.